Hi everyone, it's 3:30. We're just waiting for a few more participants to join, like it says there on the slide. So we will just wait another couple of moments and then we'll get started. Thanks very much. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. We'll make a start with our webinar today. So welcome to CEC webinar on dashboard visualizations, evaluations, and activities. Just before we get started, just to point out that if there is anybody that has registered for the webinar, one of your colleagues that maybe can't make it for whatever reason, the webinar will be getting recorded, and at the end of the session, that will be then emailed out to everybody who has registered for the webinar. But if they can't make it for whatever reason, then they can still get access to all of the content that we go through today. Okay, so welcome. My name's Peter. I am a Compass Plus consultant and I lead on the virtual delivery program. I work for I've worked for CEC for a few years now. With me today, I've got Tamid. He is our customer service advisor. Tamid, would you like to just sort of jump on and say hello?
Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're fine. My name is Tamid, and I'm a customer service advisor at CEC. I'll be supporting Peter today with any questions that you guys might have. Just please drop it in the chat, and I'll be happy to assist with any queries that you guys might have during this session. Anything relating to this, no worries, just drop it into the chat. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Tamid. Good to have you along as always. So yeah, just like you mentioned there, if there are any questions that you've got as I'm going through the webinar and through the demonstrations, please feel free to pop them in the Q&A, and Tamid will hopefully work his magic and get those answered for you. If there's any that you can't, we will leave some time at the end so we can go through any of the Q&A at that point as well. But hopefully Tamid will have covered them off as we move through the session. Okay, so today's agenda, we're going to go through some learning objectives in a moment, but we're going to cover off, like I just mentioned, the dashboard data visualizations, the how to complete a compass evaluation, and then analyze the results from that. And from that analysis, then hopefully it will be able to help you plan your activities with a bit more focus, a bit more strategic sort of attention, and then be able to create a really strong careers program. I'll do demos of all of those sections. Once we've done those as well, with each one of the different areas, we'll look at some time saving tips, so where you can hopefully save a little bit of time here and there, and know that time is one of those luxuries that we don't always have at our disposal. So we'll try to cover off some of those for you. And with all of our webinars and with all of our training, we always cover the resources where if you are having any problems that you can go to for help and assistance. So we'll direct you towards those areas as well. So the learning objectives, the aim of today's session and sort of the calls to action that we would love you to take away from today's session would be to look at the Compass Plus dashboard, look at the data visualizations that are there at your disposal and understand what they are telling you. And from what they are telling you, what can you do as a result of that? So hopefully we will cover off that area first. We're then going to move on to how you can complete a compass evaluation and interpret the results from that evaluation. and how that can then be used, sorry, to improve your activity planning. So where you can then really align the information coming out of your evaluations to the areas that may need some development and work upon. We're then going to look at how you can create some activities based off those evaluations, how you can create those to achieve those benchmarks where you may need to address, and how you can also then gain access to some of the resources that are within Compass Plus that are at your disposal, and how you can then utilize those to put on some really impactful sessions for your learners. We'll look at how to use the data, manage activities, and also then upload information from partner platforms. Depending on which one you use, we can show you how you can then pull that through into Compass Plus, update your plan, and then see where your gaps are from that as well. And like we just mentioned, or like I just mentioned, we're going to look at where you can find resources and training as well. Okay, so I'll just turn my camera off and then we can get a full view of the screen so that we can see everything that I see. So if I just do that there. Okay, so I'm going to jump into my demo account to show you the 4 visualizations, data visualizations that are held within your Compass Plus dashboard. So if I just jump into my demo account. So for anyone that is new to using Compass Plus and the getting logged on, when you do get your logons and you are effectively onto Compass Plus, this is what you'll be presented with to start with. So this is your dashboard page, and on here you've got your navigation bar on the left hand side, which allows you to go through the different sections of Compass Plus. But also in the main area here, we've got our 4 data visualizations, and I'll just work through them sort of systematically so you can see what you can do with each one and what it's telling you. So on your first visualization, so if you're new to this area, what you've got straight away here is the information relating to your 8 Gatsby benchmarks. So we've got all your 8 Gatsby benchmarks down here, and this information here is information that is based on your last Compass evaluation. So this data that we're looking at here is based on the last Compass evaluation that I completed, and that could have been last night, it could have been yesterday morning, it could have been a week ago, it could have been last term. But this is the data that is telling me how I am tracking against my individual benchmarks. So it allows you straight away to see where your areas of development may be. It may allow you to see where you need to focus some time and attention, be more strategic with your resources, and it may also be a great use for any member of the SLT that's tasked with careers and benchmark achievement, to allow them to see where you are also progressing and where there is also areas for improvement. A lovely little tool on this particular part here is that you can generate a PDF. So if we just click on generate PDF, what Compass Plus will then do is it will give you this lovely one-page PDF that you can print out. You could take to meetings, you could put in front of SLTs, governors, etc. And it just allows them to sort of see the information that you see and allow them to see how your careers program is tracking at that point in time. If we go back to the visualization then, and a really helpful tool that the Compass Plus gives you is that on our first drop-down box here, this will allow you to compare your current results against your last completed evaluation. So if we just drop down, your last evaluation would be the one at the top. So they go in sort of date order. So if I just click on our top one there, what Compass Plus will then show me is the progress that we have made, or you have made, since your last evaluation. So we can see that we've moved on with quite a few different benchmarks here. We've got the indicator down there, the right-hand side, which allows you to see whether you have moved on, whether you've stayed the same, or if in any eventuality you've fallen behind, it will let you know that as well. So again, you can generate a PDF for this particular visualization, and it's really great for you to be able to go again to SLT, to managers, to let them see where the great progress has been made within your careers program, but also that there is still room for improvement, and that you then need more resource to be able to get your program to where you need it to be. So really, really strong evidence to show where you were as to where you are now. And as a moving on further from that, if we click into our add activities drop down box, what we can then also see is if we click on our planned activities, this Compass Plus will now allow you to see all of the activities that you have within your plan that have not been completed. If in an ideal world, all of those activities go ahead, all of your learners attend all of the sessions, events that you got planned for them, and then you run your evaluation at the end of the year or your next term, this is what the outcome would be. So we can see that we've got lots planned or more planned for benchmark 2 and benchmark 5. They will be fully complete. We are moving on with benchmark 3 and 4, but we can see where we may need to work on other areas. So benchmark 6, that type of thing, where you may want to then start to focus some more time and energy. Again, it allows you to be really efficient with your careers planning so that you're not duplicating areas that you've already got achieved. Again, time obviously is a resource that not everybody has the luxury of, so you don't want to waste it when you do have it. So the really, really lovely, rich visualization for this first section here shows you how you're tracking against your benchmarks, where you may need to focus some time and resource, and then hopefully the impact that that will have as a result. So for the people that need to know that SLTs, governors, etc., that's a really, really great start for you on the visualizations. If we move down to our second visualization here, what Compass Plus now allows you to see is obviously how you are progressing against each one of the benchmarks. So we can see that from that first visualization as well. But this will now allow you to compare and track yourself against schools nationally. So in this sort of column here, we've got the schools fully achieving the benchmark nationally. So you can see how you are tracking against those. What you can also do is you can also compare yourself to local hubs and also local LEPs. So you can look at particular schools within your area, how they are tracking against the particular benchmarks. And it's a nice evaluation as to see where you're either maybe is a little bit behind the sort of national or the local trend, or where you are ahead as well. So whilst it might be, it's not certainly an exercise to sort of beat yourself up over, but it could be that if you're struggling in certain areas with certain benchmarks, it may be a common trend nationally or certainly locally as well. So it's something that you could then possibly reach out to ECs to sort of get some help, advice, a bit of guidance, a bit of networking to see where some of the schools are doing really well. What are they doing in those particular areas to be achieving them? And also where you could share your best practice as well. So again, another nice little visualization just to see where things are tracking nationally and locally, and how you are also progressing against those as well. Okay, so moving down to our activities now. What this next visualization allows you to see is how, as a school, you are planning your activities for your particular year group. So you've got your whole activities in there. So we've got 56 activities planned. At the moment, we've got 12 that have been completed. So of the 56 activities, we can see that is achieving all the different benchmarks there by just hovering over it. So we can really see where we are focusing our time and energy. What we can then do is we can select on particular year groups, and that can allow us to see where we are tracking with our activities for year groups, what that spread looks like. Do we need to focus on some other year groups? If it's top heavy in sort of year 13, year 10, can we then look to sort of put activities on for other year groups? So it really does allow you to sort of see how your spread looks with your activities. And then as a result, where you may need to do sort of further work for other year groups. And the last visualization on our dashboard page, and a really, really important one and useful one, is our tracking for interests and destinations, or intended destinations, sorry. And what we can see here, so for my year 10, I don't have a lot of aggregated data, but for year 11, if I just drop down to that, so Compass Plus takes all of the information from what you've input or what you've uploaded, and certainly from one-to-one guidance, careers guidance conversations, as to what your learners' next steps will be, what we can see here is from our year 11s. So once they finish their GCSEs, what are their next steps going to be? So it aggregates that data that's stored within Compass Plus and then portrays it in sort of the bar chart form in front. So we can see that we've got 3.6% of learners are going into further education. We've got 8.1% are going to another route through another route. And we've got 9.9% have said that they are going to move on to sixth form. Now, what we can do for the other section is that if we hover over that bar, it will then break it down as to what that other is made up of. So we can see that realistically, the majority is made up with apprenticeships and traineeships. We've got some learners going into employment, some going into volunteering. So it can really allow you to look at what those next steps are with your learners. It can also help you to identify if within your careers program there are areas that you may need to promote and sort of push forward further with your learners. It may be that you don't have a lot of understanding around particular pathways for them post year 11. So it can really give you some interesting information that you can work from. Ideally with your own, they're going to then add up to 100%. So the data is just as good as what you put into Compass Plus, but it can really allow you to see where your learners are going as a next step and what potentially are the most popular routes. It also allows you to see what the second preferences are. So first preference might be to go to sixth form. Second one could be, okay, I might go into an apprenticeship. So it allows you to track that information as well. So a really, really great visualization for your intended destinations for your learners. You can obviously then do that for your year 13, year 10. My data is quite powerful for year 11. So you can see where some of my learners are going from the demo account that I have. Okay, so that is our dashboards and the visualizations that are on there. Predominantly, you will probably be working with the benchmark visualization here and allowing you to see where you are tracking against your benchmarks, and then as a result of this, what you then need to do to try and address those areas of weakness. Okay, so if I just go back to my PowerPoint here. So we've got the 4 dashboard visualizations like I just mentioned. So you've got your evaluation results, which is the achievement towards those benchmarks. We've then got your comparison against local schools and schools nationally as well to see sort of how you are tracking against those. We've also got your activities for the year, so you can see what that spread looks like across your year groups for all of the activities that are saved within your plan. And then we've got the visualization that allows you to track your intended destinations for your learners, whatever year group they are in. Okay, so moving on to the next part now, and that is going to be looking at the compass evaluations. And the way that we use the compass evaluations to sort of inform our careers program is with this cyclical process here. So we'd start with our evaluation. So we would complete an evaluation. And if you are new to Compass Plus, this is something that we always advise you do first. Complete an evaluation, see what that information looks like when it comes back from the information that you've input, where those areas are that may need some time and attention from yourself. So completing your evaluation, analyzing that data that's coming back from it, drill down into sort of the real specifics, which I'll show you in a moment as to how you can do that. And then sort of what some of those sub criteria in those benchmarks mean. And then as a result of that, it can allow you, like that third step says, is plan your activities. So you're going to create your activities to address the gaps. You're going to be really focused and strategic with that so that you are not either duplicating or wasting any of the time that you've got at your disposal. So a very, very simple cyclical process. Once that activities part is done, you would then obviously go back to the evaluation side of things. And like it's got there, evaluation should be completed termly. So 3 times a year. During the term, you can complete them at any point that you see fit. But it's great for your own analysis and your own data to be doing that each term, so that once you've planned activities, you go back in, do an evaluation, and you can see what that impact will be as a result. So what I will do now, I will just jump into my demo account again, and I will show you where you can access your compass evaluation and how you can then analyze and drill down into that data to be more strategic with your careers planning. So what we've got on the left-hand side here on our navigation bar is we've got evaluations as our second option. So if we click into evaluations and then new evaluation, Compass Plus will take us to this page here. So we've got our 8-part form across the top there, which are basically just all the different questions relating to different areas of your Gatsby benchmarks. And it says here, when you're completing the evaluation, if this is the first point, that the first time you've completed one, it normally takes in and around sort of 30 minutes. It might be sort of slightly longer because you just want to make sure that you've got all of the right information at your disposal for when you start to complete your evaluation. So if I just start to take you through it just gently, I'm not going to do a complete evaluation because it would take obviously too long, but it's just to show you what it looks like as you sort of move through the stages of the evaluation. So we've got the first part, which is asking about your institution, which is all around sort of the benchmark one in your careers program. So you would just start to fill in these bits of information, and Compass Plus will just move you along as you complete them. So you've got your student data in there, which Compass Plus pulls through from your MIS. It updates overnight and then populates this information into Compass Plus, so you've got it at your disposal. So you don't need to go and find out the different learners in each of the year groups. So if we just keep clicking next, we can see now we're into the stage 1 of Stable Careers program, and you can just work your way through it. Now, if at this point you are needed elsewhere within the school and you haven't got time to complete your evaluation, you can save it and come back to it later. So the way you do that is just click Save and Complete Later. It will then take it to your evaluations. And if we click Return to your evaluations or my evaluations, what Compass Plus will then do, we are now into the your evaluations section. And if we scroll down here, these are our evaluations or your evaluations that you've got in progress. Now, if I just clicked on the top one, which is the most recent evaluation that I've started to complete, and if I click Resume Evaluation, Compass Plus will take me straight to the last question that I saved it at that didn't have an answer, and then allow me to progress all the way through. So once you've then done that, so now you're back into your evaluation, you've got time to be able to complete it successfully. Once you've completed your evaluation, your score, your data will then go into this section here in your evaluations. So if I just click into that section there, you'll recognize this page because I've just been on it. So our in progress evaluations are here at the top. Where Compass Plus stores your most completed or most recent completed evaluation is in this section here. Your most recent will always be at the top, so you've got that to go through. And where we can drill down into that data and into that information of your evaluation is in our actions side here. So we could click into the plus button. You've got a few different options there. We can print the results out, which we're just going to look at a moment. We're going to view them. What you can also do at this point is for your most recent evaluation, if you wanted to share that with a colleague, a member of SLT, your governor, head teacher, what you can do is you can click copy results link. It will then give you a specific link for this particular evaluation. You can then copy that link and then you can post it into an email. You can send that again to whoever you want to. So you can share that information. You can share your compass evaluation data with other schools, with your members of SLT. And again, it can just provide that information that may help people understand where your careers program is doing well, but also where you may need some help, support, guidance, etc. So if we just click into this, we're going to now have a look at the results for our most recent evaluation. And then as a result, determine what we are going to do with that information. So what we can see here is we've got all of the results from our benchmarks and how we are tracking against them. So we've got benchmark 1 all the way through to benchmark 8. What Compass Plus does here, it gives you lots of information and data relating to your particular benchmark. So what we can see here, if I just start on benchmark 3, so we are 54% towards completing benchmark 3. We can see that as per our previous evaluation, that hasn't moved at all. So we maybe haven't created any activities that would link into benchmark 3. We can see that the percentage of schools nationally that are completing this benchmark is at 54% as well. So we can sort of allow ourselves to really see where we are in terms of tracking ahead or behind national averages. But what we would be interested in, if I just undo that and then do it again so you can see what I did, I want to sort of look at the finer details of benchmark 3 and all of those sort of subcategories that factor into benchmark 3 and how I'm progressing against them. So the way that I do that is in the show details section. If I just click the drop down arrow there, what we can then see is all of the different areas within benchmark 3 that we need to be achieving. What Compass Plus will then do, it will give you 3 different ways of determining how you are progressing against those particular sort of substandard sub-criteria. First one is with a green tick. So that means that we have achieved this particular part of benchmark 3. If we've got across, then that shows that we have not started. We don't have anything within our plan that is going to help us achieve that particular area. And then we've also got the in progress. So the in progress shows that we've got some activities or some events planned for this particular part, but we need to sort of do more in order to fully achieve this particular benchmark. So what this can then allow you to do, again, is to be more strategic, more focused, and allow you to really look at where you need to start creating events, activities that will have a purposeful impact on your careers program. And then from that, we can then start to create those activities moving forwards. So a really great area for you to be able to see in finer detail where you're doing well within your benchmarks and where you need to sort of focus some time and attention. And all of this information that you get within these results here, within all of the 8 benchmarks, is all based on the information of the answers that you provided within your evaluation. So again, allows you to be really, really strategic. A lot of schools may have some in-house strategic priorities that they want to use or focus towards, and this can then allow you to sort of see and sort of assess whether that is sort of accurate. Okay, so that is how we complete an evaluation. That is how you would then analyze that data and analyze that information from that evaluation and allow you to then be, again, more strategic with your planning of activities, which can then, again, impact your benchmark achievement as well. Okay, so if I just jump back into our demo, into our PowerPoint, sorry. So just sort of in summary there, in terms of the evaluations, how you would use them and why you would use them, is we would start off by completing our evaluation. First port of call, always complete the evaluation. From the results that you input into the evaluation, it is then sort of beneficial to analyze that data. You can then drill down into the specifics of each one of the benchmarks to allow you to see where you may need to focus some time and attention and where you may need to address any gaps that are there. And then the last part, which we will move on to in a moment, is to create the actual activities to address these gaps. So as a result of this analysis here, what activities are we going to plan? What activities are we going to create to help move these benchmarks forward the next time that we complete an evaluation? Just to sort of to point out here with the sort of the PAL compliance. So a question or a part of the evaluation that CEC has sort of made an addition to is as a result of the PAL compliance published by the government in January 2023. When creating an activity based around sort of benchmark 7, we have introduced some questions into the evaluation which focuses around educational encounters and allows you to be able to then track that data as to how you are, again, progressing against the PAL compliance. So there's been a couple of additions, a couple of amendments made within the section for educational encounters. So that's benchmark 7. and they then help you to understand and determine where your gaps are within that section as well. But something just to note that the questions, the additional questions within that area, they do not contribute towards your Compass evaluation results. Okay, so I'm just going to show you the CEC resource directory that's embedded within Compass Plus. Now, this is going to factor into your activities creation. So once we've analyzed the information from our evaluation, we've determined what particular benchmark we are going to focus on, and then within that benchmark, what particular area we are maybe going to create an event or an activity for. When it comes to generating and creating sort of meaningful and purposeful activities, there's no need to sort of reinvent the wheel. You don't need to spend hours Googling great activities for a particular topic, a particular area. Within the CEC resource directory, there is a plethora of resources at your disposal. There could be lesson plans, PowerPoints, activities, and they can cover all of the different benchmarks that you may want to sort of achieve. And where you can find that is within the Help Center. So on the navigation bar, if we go down to the bottom and we click our Help Center, over here on the right-hand side, on the right-hand column, we've got our resources. If we just go into the resource directory, what it will then take you to is the CEC bank of resources. Now we can select different types, what we're looking for. So if we are looking for lesson materials, and if we click search, it will then bring up a whole host of resources that you can use, and they're at your disposal. So what we can then do again, we can filter on different areas here, and we can filter on different roles. So if I wanted to look for particular activities based on certain benchmarks, we can go up to this section here. If I know from looking at that data in the Compass evaluation that I needed to do some work on benchmark 3. So if I wanted to click into that, it can then give you lots of resources, lots of narrative that can help you create and develop some meaningful activities, sessions, events for that particular benchmark. And again, could definitely save you time rather than having to Google search on the internet for particular activities for that benchmark. So a really helpful tool to allow you to save time, but then also create some really impactful sessions for your benchmark achievement. Okay, just go back into our PowerPoint again. So that is there at your disposal. Please use that. It's a great tool that's embedded within Compass Plus and something that we will hope you will get lots of benefit from. Okay, so it's just a couple of time-saving tips on your Compass evaluation. Some I might actually drop back into to just go over again. So one thing that I didn't point out, and I will do when I go back into the demo, is that you can copy your latest or your last Compass evaluation, and instead of having to re-input all of that data again, you can copy it over and then just amend or edit the data that needs amending. So we've got enter basic details for activities and fill the rest in later. So we can go into our evaluations, and we can then save time by copying the latest one over and then just amending any data that we need. We can use the projected benchmark scores to see where you'll be next time. So I've shown you that on that previous data visualization. We've got in there using the resource directory for activity ideas. Really utilize that. It will hopefully save you lots of time and effort moving forwards. You can download your Compass evaluations and share that data with SLTs, governors, Ofsted. So that's where you would use the link that I showed you how to access that. And then we can auto share information as well. One thing I will then just point out is within your evaluations, where you can copy your most recent evaluation and how you can then use that information to save you time moving forward. So within our complete evaluation section, if I just click on the plus button, if I click update evaluation here, what Compass Plus will then say is, do you want to copy this evaluation? Yes, we do. What it will then do is it now provides me with my last evaluation with the data already completed that I used as per that last evaluation. So if nothing's changed in terms of roles and things, you can just quickly click through next. if the data is all the same, the only parts that you need to then edit or amend are those if they have changed for whatever reason. So it can allow you to save a lot of time by just going through all of these different stages, but the data is already then pre-populated based on your last evaluation. So a nice time-saving tip there when you do your evaluations. Okay, so moving on from that, so we've carried out our evaluation. We have looked at our benchmarks and our data that's on our dashboard, and as a result, we now want to start creating some activities that are going to address those benchmarks where we have some gaps and need to be improved upon. So when we do design our activities, we want to be taking into mind the benchmark gaps that we have identified. We want to look at the different data streams that we can get information from to help design our activities. We may also want to create some custom groups. So when creating activities, it's not always a one size fits all. So it may be that we need to create some custom groups for our a particular group of learners that may need to some help and support in addressing a particular area that the information has shown that there is an area of weakness. Within the activities as well, which we'll also show you, is how we can manage our providers and partners. So these will be the businesses, the clients that you work with as a school that help support your careers program and help to come in and deliver those events as well. So these can all be saved within Compass Plus, within the sort of careers partners database, and it's kind of like your little black book at your disposal. So we will also look at that as well. Okay, so if I just take you into our demo account again and show you where we can start to create our activities. So again, on our navigation bar here, down the left-hand side, we're going to go into activities. So to create new activity, we're just going to go to our first tab there, create new activity. Compass Plus will now ask us, do you want to create an activity for benchmark 1 or benchmarks 2 to 8? Now, I know that one of the areas when I looked at the data there was in benchmark 3, and it was about raising the aspirations of our learners. So I'm going to leave benchmark 2 to 8 selected. I will then just click create activity, and it takes us to this blank page, to this blank form. And this is where we're going to start to populate all of the data and all of the information relating to this activity that we want to help address the needs to raise the aspirations of our learners. So what we need to do to start with is to give our activity a name, okay? And if this activity includes parents or it has parental engagement in it, it's really important to sort of highlight that in the title of the activity, because that can then allow you to assess. And again, obviously, there is the requirement that there is parental engagement within your careers program. And the way that we do that is just by, if we type in at the start, INCL, so for including parents, and then we can give our activity a name. So if I'm going to put an activity on for raising aspirations of learners, we might just call it aspirational event. Okay. And I've also said it's going to include parents. So what it may be is we may just invite some local businesses along. We may invite previous learners, so sort of alumni to come back in and give a talk on sort of what they did at school, but also then what they're doing as a next step as well. So we've got that it's an event including parents. The next part we need to do is we need to give it a main benchmark for which this activity will be assessed against. So for ours, it was going to be benchmark 3, and we know it was aspiration raising. It may be that we feel this also achieves additional benchmarks, at which point we can then start to include them in the additional categories as well. So you can include any benchmarks that you feel this particular aspirational event is going to achieve. Now, a nice little sort of time-saving tip here is that if, again, time was of the essence and you needed to do something else within your school, in order to have an activity saved into your plan, the only two fields that you are required to fill in initially are these top two. So you need to give it a title, and we need to give it a main benchmark to be assessed against. Once we've done that, we could save our activity, and that would then be saved into our plan for that academic year. We could then retrospectively go back in and then start adding in all of this different information here for this particular activity. But as we're just going to go through it now, we'll leave the additional categories blank. What we then need to do is just give it a school lead who's going to run the event for us. So I'm just going to generically put in Mr. Smith. We then need to give it a start date and an end date, and then a start and end time as well. So it just can be, let's say we're going to do it on Monday, and it's going to be from 12 o'clock till 4. So we've got our time, start and end date in there as well. What we would now start to do is we will start to add our learners to this particular activity that we're putting on. Now, what we can see at the moment is that all of our characteristic groups have been selected. So if I wanted to attach learners to this particular activity, at the moment, I have got everybody and every group attached to or to select from for this particular activity. So we can see the size of this lozenge here at the right hand side, showing that there's a lot of data and information in there. I've already created a custom group for this particular event. So if I've now just left my custom group selected, if I click on the drop down box now, what we can see is that this lozenge is a lot bigger, meaning there are less options. So if I just put in aspiration raising, and that group is now attached to this particular activity, I can edit and amend who the learners are that are within this particular group. If I just click on the pencil, click expand, and then it lets me see who are all of the learners that I've got within this aspiration raising custom group. You can take out learners if you know they're not going to attend. You can also add in learners if there are more learners that are going to be there. So that's how we add our learners to the activity. Very, very simple. Again, we could do it just on teaching groups, year groups, to make it a lot easier, a lot more time efficient for you to add and edit the attendees. Once you've added your learners, you then need to start adding any employees, any businesses that you want to come along for to help out with this activity. And the way we do that is within this section here. So we just click our drop down box, and all of these businesses, all of these clients are all saved within your Compass Plus. So these are all of the businesses you've worked very hard with to make engagements with, to get on board with your careers program, and to help you and help support you with the delivery of with your careers within your school. So we could say we're going to have Baltic Training, we might have Act One Digital, and we might have an apprenticeships group. Those groups are now attached to our activity. So there's no need to import names, addresses, contact numbers. They're all saved within this particular section here. Where you add those into your Compass Plus account is within our Careers Partners section here. So you can go in there and you just go through the mandatory fields, updating the information and data that you've got. Finally, you can then add some notes in here. So maybe you might want to send out a questionnaire post the event. You may want to remind somebody to put on lunch for that event. So you can put any notes in there that you feel will be applicable. Once you've done that, you will click Save Activity, and then this activity will be saved into your plan. And how we then look at that and what that looks like is within this section here. So we've got your activities. If we just drop into View, Edit, Activities, it will take us to your careers plan, and that is all here at your disposal. What we can see straight away here is we've got our planned activities, completed and cancelled. So we've got the 3 tabs across the top, which allows you to then sort of filter between those different areas. But what we can see here is we've got all of our activities within our plan. We can filter on main categories. We could filter on activity leads, activity names, that type of thing. So if we had other events that included parents, I'm just trying to find one. So we've got, there we go. So we create a careers fair which includes parents. So again, we could then see and filter down onto what activities we are putting on that includes that parental engagement. So it allows you to really start looking at how you're doing with that particular area. Now, if we just filter down onto some of the different sections here. So if we do, let's just go into virtual careers Safari. So if we click on the show more information, we can see what providers we've got attached to this particular activity, how many learners are going to be attending, and any notes that we've got in there as well for any teachers that may be running the session. So we can view and edit the activity in there. So that could be to edit any attendance from our learners. If we wanted to, if we want to duplicate this activity to then I have it assessed against a different benchmark, we can do that there. We can copy the activity to our next year's plan. So again, that could be a time-saving tip. So if we think that this activity's worked really well, to copy it over to your next year's plan, we can just click that there. Marking the activity as complete. Anything that needs to be deleted can be deleted or cancelled. If we click the mark activity as complete, so this one's called the Virtual Career Safari. If we click that as complete, we can go down the bottom, save them out. Oh, it's different data. Once you've clicked the complete, it will go into the completed activities section. So it's really important to keep your plan up to date so that in your planned activities, you know they are the only activities that need to be carried out within that academic year. Any activities that have taken place, it's very important that you go into and then mark them as complete. It will then move them into this particular section here and allow you just to see where things are working, and then also what you then need to sort of focus on in terms of your planned activities for the rest of the academic year. Something that I'm just going to point out within this front section here is on this part here, we can see that we have got 69 activities within our plan. Of those 69 activities, they achieve 8 or all 8 of the Gatsby benchmarks. But if you are working with a partner platform, whether that be sort of Unifrog, Zello, Morrisby, that type of thing, and you already log your activities or your interactions within that partner platform, and then you want to download and upload it into Compass Plus, you would go through the section within your partner platform to download all of that information to a CSV file. You would save it to your hard drive or a USB. You would then upload that information into Compass Plus via this section here. So we've got the little upload arrow. So if we click upload activities to plan, it would then, Compass Plus will then ask you to drag and drop that file that you've got all of your activities saved in into this section here. Select the file, and then that will upload all of that, all of those activities into Compass Plus. What you would then do is you would go to your dashboard, and you could look at your visualization by clicking on planned activities, and then you could see what impact all of those planned activities that you've just imported into your Compass Plus account, you could see what impact they are going to have on your benchmark achievement. So it's absolutely fine that you may log your activities in a partner platform. Really important to download them, upload them into Compass Plus, and then see what that impact will be. You would then run your evaluation, and that visualization at the front will give you how you are tracking against your benchmarks. Okay, so just in summary, so for designing your activity, so we're going to look at the benchmarks that you need to address, and then start to plan the activities based on those areas or those gaps. You could use the information from the FSQ to also support the creation of the activities. We can also create custom groups that could be used for bespoke areas that need to be addressed. And then we've got our managing providers as well within our careers partners area of Compass Plus. Okay, so we've done the activities, how we would manage them, how we would create them. Again, just to sort of go over, if you are using a partner platform, so one of the ones that's on the screen there, Unifrog, Zello, that type of thing, how you can then download that information from your partner platform, upload it into Compass Plus, and then you can see from that second point here, you can access that data and look at those visualizations to see how you're tracking against your benchmarks as a result of those activities that have just been uploaded into Compass Plus. Okay, so some time-saving tips. So copying activities over to the next academic year, which I just mentioned, will definitely save you time. So if some of your activities have gone as planned and they've made a real impact on your program, copy them over to the next one rather than having to re-input. You can upload your activities from partner platform, like I just mentioned as well. So again, you don't need to enter activities twice. If they're already in your partner platform, just upload them into Compass Plus, and then you can look at that data to see the impact. You can see where the activities you've got focus for parental engagement, which is what I pointed out as to why you would title or name your activity including parents. You can then see sort of what percentage or what level of parental engagement you are having within your activities. And then what we've got here is that if you put in on things like careers fairs, they're what we call big ticket activities. You can attach a lot of learners to that. So if you start in that respect, then you can build your careers program out from that initial phase. Okay, what I'm going to show now, so this is Dee Long. Dee is a careers coordinator at a school, and she's just going to give a short summary as to how she uses Compass Plus and the value of looking at that data and information to improve her careers program.
I very much use Compass Plus as my go-to tool to create my careers program. So you are at Rockwood Academy. I am Dee Long and I am the Careers Coordinator for the Core Education Trust. So my day-to-day responsibilities at Rockwood are to give all of the students from years 7 to 11 information, advice and guidance. I very much use Compass Plus as my go-to tool, both create my careers program, but also to grow and develop the program. What's nice about it is the fact that you can both create your career plan for your school and use it in line with SIMS data. I'd be lost without the Compass Plus tool. I also use it as a way of being able to measure impact and chart progress. Nice to see their aspirations grow and develop from when they're in year 7 right the way through to year 11, and it's lovely to see them when they leave school happy and successful.
So my name is Victoria Creedon. I'm the Deputy Head Teacher at Rockwood Academy. We aspire to have our careers programme as an integrated part of our curriculum that provides bespoke opportunities that are tailored to our students. It's also integrated into our curriculum and providing our students with the skills that they need to be successful in the world of work. And we work hard with our students to make sure that they understand that they're able to access any opportunities in any industry or sector.
Because the Compass Plus tool allows me to categorise my students, so those that want free school meals, those that are pupil premium, it's much easier to be able to pull data from that very easily for people like the school governors. I'm often asked to download information about pupil premium students, free school meal students, looked after students and how they are interacting with careers because they are priority kids. And governors like to know that information and they like to know how it's going. So at the click of one button, I can get that information to them. And that feedback is good for us as a school, because if there's any element to our careers programme that hasn't worked, it's a great way of being able to capture that information and improve it for next year.
Okay, so that was great to hear from Dee, just to kind of re-emphasize the different ways in which you can use the data and the information that is populated and generated within Compass Plus, and how it can then help you inform your careers program, make those interventions, and just really align with any sort of your school sort of strategic priorities as well. So finally, what I'm just going to do is go through the resources and training and show you where you can access all of these things that are on the screen in front of you at the moment. So I'm going to start from the bottom up because the other 3 are within Compass Plus, and I'll show you where to access them. So to start with, in terms of training and help and advice and guidance, if you are having any problems within your sort of careers or within your school, you can always reach out to your EC or your hub support. They've got a great network of other schools that they'll work with, and they may be able to put you in touch. If you're struggling in a particular area, they may be able to do some sort of PE support there. But similarly, they've got great experience of using Compass Plus and also careers itself, so they may be able to come in and help and give you some advice and guidance on any particular areas that you've got. So please don't forget to use your ECs for any help that you need. For these other 3, I'm just going to jump back into my demo and show you where you can access them. So within the Help Center, so on the navigation bar down the left-hand side, if we go into the Help Center again, what we've got here is a few different columns. In the left-hand one here, we've got all of the sort of help articles, the self-service narratives that can help you overcome any problems that you may be having in your sort of initial stages of using Compass Plus. So there are hyperlinks here on how to get started. They're embedded within these hyperlinks. There are sort of short YouTube videos. When we say short, they're sort of 2 to 3 minutes long, so not too time consuming. And they will hopefully show you the particular area that you need to focus on. There will also be screen grabs that can talk you through the particular area that again, you need some help and advice with, so that there's that step-by-step guide to hopefully help you get past your current problem to find that solution. So it's all about trying to become self-sufficient when using Compass Plus, and being confident and competent in navigating your way around to try and find the areas that you need. After that, we do have some sort of online self-paced learning. There are a few different modules in here, so you could click on the view training, and what it will do is it will ask you to create an account, and then you can work through these 5 modules at your leisure. When you do, it's all about you gaining the confidence to know where to navigate around Compass Plus, to find different areas, to find different topics. That at the end of it, you take a small test, you get a certificate to kind of say, well done, you know, you are certainly competent in using Compass Plus moving forwards. Underneath that, we've also got our webinars. So like we've done today, this will then be uploaded into the webinar section in the previous webinars. So you can access any of the webinars that we've held previous, and you can sit and watch those if you wanted to. They're around about 50 minutes long, and then sort of they can explain different areas in depth and hopefully give you that sort of deeper knowledge on those. You can also sign up for future webinars if you wanted to. So we run these webinars every month, and you could sign up for those as well. The resources side of things, I've already shown you where you can access that and how or why you would access it. And then down in our bottom left part here is, if you do have a problem and having exhausted all of these options and opportunities on this page here, you're still struggling, it may be there's a technical area or issue that you're experiencing, you could click the contact support link. It will then take you to this secondary page, and you can then put in a description of what your problem is, click submit. That will generate a ticket, which can then go through to our customer support team, and they will then get back in touch with you to help resolve your issue or your query. So they are very, very good at doing that and very efficient. Okay, so we've got the Help Center articles, the webinars, and the self-service online training, and then also your EC coordinator. That is pretty much everything. So just before we go back to Tam to see if there are any questions that are outstanding, could I ask if you could access the QR code that's on your screen there, just to leave some feedback from today's session. We always accept the feedback very graciously. It helps us strengthen and develop our programs and our webinars moving forwards, so that we can then provide sort of the best service and ensure that when you do attend these sessions, you're getting the most from them. So the feedback is always very much appreciated. If I just turn my camera back on and then ask Tamid, how are we doing with Q&A? Is there anything outstanding, Tamid, or have you worked your magic and got through everything?
Today there doesn't seem to be any questions, to be fair, Peter. So yeah, so today was just a very quick session, but yeah.
That's great. Oh, well, that's always a good thing. Hopefully no questions is a good thing. Okay, so just finally for me to sort of wrap up and say thank you very much for attending, everyone. Hopefully we'll see you again on one of our future webinars. Our call to action for you now will be to go away and implement, complete an evaluation, analysing those results, and then as a result of that, starting to create those activities that will help address those areas or those gaps that you've identified as a result of your Compass evaluation. So that would be our call to action, to sort of go away and align those three areas. But thank you very much for your time today, and we hope to see you again soon. Thank you.